I'm just gonna talk about, okay, let me just talk about the writing to the piano. Jury. Okay, can you see my board? Okay, I'm just gonna do this. So, if you can check the whole section, if you can check, I think if you can check, the topic is called the reconciliation. Okay, debtors reconciliation. And creditors reconciliation. So I'm just going to talk about creditors debtors reconciliation for now. Let me just do this. So I'm going to talk about the debtors reconciliation. And I think by now we have got an idea of what do we mean by saying reconciliation based on what we did yesterday. Yes. But remember I said we reconcile if we have got differences, remember? Yeah, so same, I think same logic, similar logic. It's just that yesterday we were talking about the cash part of it. Because yesterday we were reconciling the bank and our books and the cash in our books. Remember that? Now, today, remember, when I talk about debtors, I think you know by now, debtors are those people who owe us. So especially when we sell items on credit, so you will have debtors. Especially when we sell the inventory on credit, we've got debtors. So debtors are our clients. We sold to them or we offered a service to them on credit. So that needs to be understood. So far, we understand the term, the general ledger. As you can see, general ledger meaning we generalize everything that we are going to record here. Okay, so it means in the general ledger, if you remember very well from our past experiences, a general ledger will always, let me just check this. The general ledger will look like this. Just throw this. This is what we learned from our basic accounting. This is the general ledger. For example, in this case, because I'm talking about debtors, I'm going to have a debtors control. Let me just do this first. We are going to have debit. Obviously, we're going to have debtors control. And then obviously on the other side, I'm going to have credit. And see, yeah. So this is what we know by the general ledger. So it's called a debit. It has got a credit. So we need to understand that all my debtors, for example, will be recorded in the general ledger. Can you see now? If you've got a business, it means to show how much do debtors owe you, you will have to open this book. So if I may ask, just for, remember, because I was just talking about the basics. If I may ask about the debtors, remember we've got 5 groups of accounts from our basic accounting. So if I say under which group do you think the debtors control will fall, where do you think we are going to record this? How can we classify this?
It's an asset, right? So
Is an asset. So this will be our asset, like you said. Let me just do this. It's going to be an asset. Let me just put it down here. Just for, it's going to be our assets. Then obviously when we say asset, we need to understand the principles of asset. Some say this is just the basic for now, but we need to understand it better. So now, let's say, for example, you've got a business and all your debtors owe you 10,000. Under which side must I show that balance of 10,000? Is it going to be on the debit or on the credit?
On the debit.
On the debit side, yes, I'm gonna put the balance. I'm just gonna give you an example here. Balance, that's how we do it. Balance brought down. Remember, it is brought down from the previous period. Let me just say it was a balance of 5,000 for the sake of space. Let's see if we've got a balance of 5,000. So I'm going to have a balance of 5,000 on the debit side. This shows that debtors, all of them, that's why we say general here, meaning all my debtors owe me 5,000. But we know for sure that under this, in this 5,000, we've got various debtors. We can have Sylvester, we can have Katleho, we can have James, we can have Jane. Can you see now? All those people together form this part. That's why now it will be time for us to break down this particular 5,000 according to the individual debtors. That's why sometimes, even here, instead of saying subsidiary ledger, the best way of knowing it, you can also call it, for example, you can call this individual ledger. Individual ledger. So individual ledger means now it's time for us to break down this 5,000. For example, you'll see, let's say, let me give you an example here. Let me draw something here because the format is so we're going to have something like this. I'm just going to have a basic one. For example, here I'm going to have 1, 2. So I'm just going to just give a basic example here. And then I'm going to have the date, obviously the details. So I'm just going to try to improvise here. I'm going to have the date. I'm just going to have something like this. And I'm going to have details, and I'm going to have the folio here. So don't worry. So I'm just going to show you. Let's say, for example, we have got here. Can you see now? So now can you see I'm opening Katleho as an individual? But we know that Katleho is part of that data's control. So we need to make sure that we just change the color to make it nice. And then obviously the column here, I'm just gonna have the basic columns. Obviously gonna have the date. Just putting it so that we're gonna have the details. Folio, debit, credit. This is what we are going to have. Can you see now? So this is the format. As you can see, this is how the format will look like. So as you can see, this format looks like the statement that is sent to you by your creditors. So people that you owe them, when they send you the statement in most cases looks like this. Can you see? That's why nowadays we've got the computerized system. I think, we do what we call the Sage accounting, formerly known as pastel accounting. So again, so you will see the statement that you print from that particular system is similar to this one. For example, if Sylvester, for example, he owes you let's say as part of this 5,000, let's say Sylvester owes you 500. So the balance will be like this. Obviously, it's going to be the date. I'm going to show you with an exercise, don't worry. So the date here, for example, let's say the date was today is the balance. Let's say it's the balance. I'm just going to show the date as the first, for example. And then I'm just going to have, for example, balance. Is brought down. Let's say it's 5,000. I'm going to have is 500. So Sylvester's balance only is 500. Can you see that? So this is to show that now I'm opening, not Sylvester Katleho, now I'm opening Katleho's account, and then Katleho, out of this 5,000, Katleho owes only 500. Do you understand the relationship between the two?
Yes, sir.
So and then again, let's say when I keep, let's say for example, I'm gonna sell. I'm just showing you randomly. Let's say I'm gonna sell to Katleho on credit. Obviously, I'm gonna have, let's say on the certain date, I'm gonna invoice Katleho. I'm gonna say invoice. Let's say the invoice number was 122, and then obviously when I'm gonna use DJ, I'm just like I said, and I'm gonna make sure that, let's say I sold to Katleho for 300. I'm gonna say for 300, and it means Katleho at the moment will owe me 800. So I just want you to understand this scheme. But for now, maybe it doesn't make sense. Don't worry. We're going to break down this one. So remember, Katleho is my debtor. Debtors increase on the debit side. You can see here, I recorded on the debit side because I sold to Katleho. That's why here I put 300 on the debit side. So if, let's say, for example, Katleho was paying me, I was supposed to record Katleho on the credit side. So this is similar to what we have under general ledger, but it's just that here we focus on the individual. So at the end, that's why there's something called reconciliation. We can trace some of the figures. Remember, general ledger will be transferred to the trial balance. And again, when you are an auditor, you will need all the information so that you can cross-reference and check if the books correlate or not. But at the end of the day, all my data together. As you can see now, Katleho has got, Katleho owes me how much? Katleho owes me 800, as you can see here. Katleho owes me 800. So it means if I can take 800 and add to the other data which I have, maybe the other data is Sylvester. When I add all of them together, they must give me a total of what? Of 5,000 rands. Can you see now? So, but at the end, I need to open individual accounts for all the data. Does this make sense?
Yes,
That
sir.
is the basic that we need. Are we good?
Yeah, yes, we good, sir.
Okay. So if you've got any question, you may ask. So this is just the, just the